Welcome to this epic story. Chapter 3. Clash in the Cold Night. The power chessboard of an Icelandic dinner party. In 2035, Reykjavik, Iceland, a blizzard rages along the coast at 70 kilometers per hour outside the main venue of the geothermal summit. Lynn Carter stands by the grand floor-to-ceiling windows of the banquet hall, her fingertips unconsciously tracing the ice crack patterns on her Jingdazin ceramic cup. The silent black tea inside has long gone cold, much like her anticipation for this dinner. Beyond the glass, the Aurora paints the inky blue sky in streaks of emerald, yet it sharpens her reflection. Khaki cargo pants paired with a puffer jacket liner, a stark contrast to the evening gown swirling around her. The only adornment is a quantum chip brooch on her chest, its edges still smudged with thermal grease from that morning's demonstration. Dr. Carter seems more interested in the Aurora than champagne. The cool male voice washes over her like glacial meltwater from Iceland's glaciers. Lynn doesn't need to turn around. She'd recognize the sudden tightening of tension in the air anywhere. She turns slowly, meeting a pair of ice-hard cobalt blue eyes. Adrian Hawke stands 3 steps away, his silver-gray hair ruffled slightly by the banquet hall's warm air. A tailored charcoal suit sharpens his shoulder line to a surgeon's precision, and a titanium ring glints coldly on his left ring finger, eerily echoing the metallic sheen of her brooch. Behind him, 2 black-suited bodyguards stand, their earpieces crackling with static, yet failing to dim the faint, controlling curve of his lips. Mr. Hawke should concern himself more with Vita Group's stock prices than a tech scholar's stargazing. Lynn sets the ceramic cup on a passing waiter's tray, her Jujian brushing the circuit patterns on her brooch. After all, your company's real-time stock dropped 1.2% after my demonstration this morning. The market doesn't seem convinced that telomere optimization is just a life management ecosystem supplement for Vita. Adrian raises an eyebrow, gesturing for his bodyguards to retreat to the champagne tower 10 meters away. He steps closer, the distance narrowing just enough to catch each other's breath, yet preserving the safe boundary of a business negotiation. Lynn detects the faint scent of cedar on him, mingled with a whisper of disinfectant, a smell clinging only to those who've spent years in sterile environments, a striking contrast to the 7-figure Patek Philippe on his wrist. Markets are short-sighted. He plucks 2 flutes of champagne from a waiter's tray, offering one to Lynn. Water droplets from the glass bead on his knuckles. They see only that telomere optimization could extend average human lifespan from 85 to 120. They don't see the supply chain behind it. Gene sequencing relies on Vita's NovaSeq X Plus platform. Post-maintenance depends on our VitaLink 2.0 brain computer interface monitoring system. Even the thermostats in your lab use core sensors from Vita's biotech supplies division. Lynn doesn't take the champagne, her gaze lingering on his outstretched wrist, a faint 3-centimeter scar, its edges neat like a surgical mark. Is Mr. Hawke reminding me my technology can't survive without Vita? She smiles suddenly, revealing 2 small canine teeth that soften her sharpness. You might have missed Appendix 3 of my Summit White Paper page 17 lists all alternatives including quantum sequencers from Oriental New Era and graphene sensors from Rhein Industries. After all, I developed this technology to be affordable for more people, not to turn them into ecosystem prisoners of a single corporation. Adrian's smile fades. He withdraws the champagne, setting it on a nearby pillar. From his inner pocket, he pulls a silver USB drive. Placing it on the round table between them, its casing bears Vita's logo, a nightingale clutching a DNA strand. $30 billion, cash, plus 5% equity in Vita Group. His voice drops lower, the ice in his cobalt eyes thawing into something like earnestness. You keep naming rights, run an independent R&D center. Vita won't interfere, except for one condition. All deployments must pass Vita's Global Ethics Review Board. Lynn's gaze fixes on the USB drive, her fingertips tingling. $30 billion could fund 3 non-profit gene therapy centers in Costa Rica, treating slum children with neurodegenerative diseases from faulty chip implants for free. She remembers her mentor, Professor Chen, coughing in his hospital bed last week. Technology shouldn't serve only the rich. She thinks of the letters to her lab YY stars drawn on envelopes, from children with progeria begging, "Let me live long enough to see real stars." Does Mr. Hawke know about the gene refugees in the Amazon? Her voice tightens. Last year, Vita evicted 3 indigenous tribes to build a gene bank. Their shaman refused to leave. Your security broke his leg. That bank stores cell samples from the rich who can afford $100,000 life insurance. She steps closer, locking eyes with Adrian. Your $30 billion can't buy my definition of benefiting humanity. I'll collaborate with Vita, but 3 terms. Patents go to the Global Gene Ethics Alliance. Treatment costs cap at 5% of a patient's annual income, and developing nations get priority access. Adrian's expression hardens, the flicker of earnestness freezing over. He snatches up the USB drive, his grip warping its metal casing. Dr. Carter is quite the idealist, he sneers. You think your technology leaves the lab without capital. Rhein's fusion tech refused patent licensing, still stuck in prototype. Oriental New Era's consciousness uploads have the entire Asian alliance funding them. What do you have? A 12-person startup? Letters with star drawings? Lynn pulls a worn Stanford mug from her pocket. It's Class of 2028 Quantum Computing, print faded, a chip on its rim. My mother left this for me. She brushes the chip gently. In 2028, she worked on brain-computer interfaces for the Arctic expedition. Before the accident, her last email said, "Technology is a flame, not a weapon. Don't let it burn only in high towers." She lifts her head, eyes bright. Your mother was a scientist too, Mr. Hawke. You must understand, some things matter more than 30 billion. Adrian stiffens. A flash of emotion ripples through his cobalt eyes, not anger, but a deeper, wounded pain. He touches his titanium ring unconsciously, his Adam's apple bobbing, but says nothing. The banquet music swells as Sophia Rhein, in a red gown, glides over, her golden curls pinned with the Rhein Industries crest, her smile bright yet assessing. Hawke, Dr. Carter, you two seem deep in conversation. Sophia rests her glass on Adrian's arm, glancing between them. Heard the summit chair say your demos leaked on the dark web. Hackers are offering $50 million for the core data better guarded. These days, even mechanical nightingales can breach Vita's firewalls. Lynn tenses, patting the encrypted drive in her pocket home to the telomere algorithm. Adrian regains his composure, stepping away from Sophia with quiet authority. Vita's security doesn't need Ryan's input. Dr. Carter, my offer stands until summit's end. He checks his watch. If you'll excuse me, I need to meet an old friend. He strides toward the banquet hall's back door, his silver gray figure vanishing into the crowd. Sophia watches him go, a knowing smile playing on her lips, then turns to Lynn. Don't let Hawke's coldness fool you. He's ice on the surface, but he's hiding things, his mother's death, Vita's shadow labs. She leans in, voice lowering. If you ever want the truth, Rhine Industries is here. We're not exactly friends with Vita. Lynn says nothing, her gaze following Adrian's path. His reaction to his mother, too intense. Raw. This wasn't ordinary emotion. It was a buried secret. She touches her quantum brooch, realizing this Icelandic meeting is more than a clash of tech and capital. It's tangled in 20-year-old ghosts, in truths buried deep. The blizzard howls outside, the aurora flaring into a vivid green, like a bleeding wound in the sky. Lynn picks up a champagne flute from a tray, taking her first sip. The sharp liquid burns her throat, clearing her head. She knows now, life won't be just algorithms and data anymore. She stepped into a power game spanning 2 decades and 3 federations, and she and Adrian, rivals, might be the only ones who can solve it. At 10 p.m., Lynn pulls out her phone, texting her New York assistant. Upgrade lab security immediately, focus on dark web monitoring. Also, dig up all public records on the 2028 Arctic expedition accident, especially Vita's involvement. After hitting send, she stares at the Aurora, murmuring her mother's words. Don't let the flame burn only in high towers. In the back corridor, Adrian leans against a cold wall, his right hand crushing the warped USB drive, knuckles white. He pulls a small metal box from his pocket, opening it to reveal an old NASA badge engraved with Adrian Hawke, his mother's name. He strokes it, the ice in his cobalt eyes melting into raw grief. Mom, she mentioned you, he whispers, voice hoarse. Her tech is too much like yours. I can't help but wonder, but she's like you, too stubbornly believing technology can change the world. He closes his eyes, recalling childhood stargazing with his mother. The collapse when he heard of her death 20 years ago. His father's cold warning. Your mother's death was an accident. Stop digging. Footsteps echo his bodyguard. Sir, we found it. Dr. Carter's mother was Lynn Hui. She worked on the 2028 Arctic expedition, colleague of your mother's. The guard hands over a file. And her telomere tech? Its core algorithm matches your mother's unfinished Project Immortality almost exactly. Adrian flips through the file, trembling. When he sees Lynn Hui's photo, he freezes her smile, the shape of her eyes. They mirror Lynn's. On the last page, the 2028 expedition roster lists Lynn Hui under missing persons. Missing? Adrian mutters, shock replacing grief. Not killed in accident? Father always said, a realization hits. His mother's death, Lynn Hui's disappearance, Lynn's tech, none of it is coincidence. This Icelandic meeting isn't chance. It's fate's chessboard. He and Lynn are both pieces. He tucks away the file and badge, straightening, his expression hardening again. Keep investigating. Find out what happened to Lynn Hui after she went missing. And track the origin of Dr. Carter's tech. His voice sharpens. And triple security on Dr. Carter? Until I uncover the truth, she stays alive. The guard leaves. Adrian leans against the wall, watching the blizzard, conflict churning. He wants Lynn's tech, but more, he needs her to unlock his mother's death. He doubts her motives, yet sees his mother in her. This cold night clash in Iceland is just the beginning, and he knows the next moves will be far more dangerous. The story continues. Subscribe soon.